How much do you earn in this luxury space?
A lot of brands which are luxury don't pay because they feel that if you're associated with us, it creates
better.
your brand image.
You've been Mrs. India 2021 yourself.
Yes.
A lot of people have this misconception that, once you're wearing a crown on your head, your life changes overnight.
It definitely doesn't change overnight. Of course, things change because you start looking at yourself differently.
Right.
And after winning, I think, or after kind of, entering a pageant or knowing that you're capable of doing this and, kind of getting that title or winning the crown, you know that, hey, you know what, I achieved this and I have it in it.
Spill the tea about what really happens at these luxury events.
I'm not going to name the person, but somebody from the luxury, space, a content creator, actually did not give their right address because it wasn't that was pretty crazy. They didn't give their address. They actually gave a fake address, not a fake address, but someone else's address,
Give
a
me the
friend's
address.
address,
Okay.
because it wasn't the it address.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sniggy Speaks. If you're new here, this is a space where we break down fashion, beauty, luxury, and life itself, all with a little bit of real talk. What if I told you today that the luxury world isn't as glamorous as it looks? That the designer bags you see online aren't always personally owned, that behind the dazzling events and high fashion moments, there's intense pressure, fierce competition, and stories that never make it to Instagram. In this episode, we're uncovering the real cost of luxury, the truth behind the world of high-end fashion, influence, and pageants. From the hidden challenges of maintaining a luxury image to the untold realities of the industry. This conversation is going to get really real. Now, why we are talking about this is because statistically in India, only 0.1% of the population can actually afford real luxury. But here's a massive group known as the aspirational luxury segment, people who want and desire a life that looks expensive and luxurious. And let's be real, there's even a larger group of audience that is curious to know how to achieve that lifestyle and what really goes behind the scenes to make it really happen. That's exactly why we chose this topic. Because in a world where luxury is more about perception than possession, it's time to separate fact from fiction. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end of this because my guest has a shocking revelation about what really happens behind the scenes at these elite events. So today I would like to introduce to you someone who's really special to me, and this is my first ever guest joining me on my podcast. Who better than talking about fashion than none other than Fashion is My Religion, Rohini Mathur. Joining me today is none other than Rohini Mathur, a well-known fashion and luxury influencer based in Delhi. She's the face behind some of the city's most exclusive events. She collaborates with top-notch luxury brands, and on top of that, she's also a beauty queen. She won Mrs. India 2021 by UMB Pageants, and since then her journey has been immaculate, and I have been a personal witness to the same. Welcome to the show, Rohini.
Thank you for having me, Sniggy. Thank you. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely.
And what better way of doing it on this podcast?
Absolutely, and I'm so honored and glad that you were my first ever
You don't
guest.
have to be.
And
The
this
pleasure
is always
all
going to be
mine.
very special to me.
To me too, because this is my first podcast as well.
Absolutely. So, this is a space and this is a time when we're talking about what is the real cost of luxury. So, my first question to you would be, what according to you is luxury? Is it about, a status symbol? Is it about self-expression? Is it about something else than what meets the eye?
I think it's more about self-expression, at least for me. I think luxury, again, is something which is, it's personal, right? It's what luxury means to you may not mean the same to me, and vice versa, right? Like for me, luxury is all about comfort. It's all about something that resonates with my personal style. So I would say it's definitely something which is more of a self-expression.
Right. Okay, so let's get real because influencers and celebrities, they often make this luxurious lifestyle feel very effortless, that you don't have to lift a finger for anything, and so it's made to seem like something you have without putting any effort onto it. So for you, what does it take to be this have what does it actually take to have this kind of a luxurious lifestyle?
What does it take? A lot of money.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I mean, fact is a fact, okay?
Yeah,
And
100%.
money comes with a lot of hard work.
Mhm.
So eventually, being, in the luxury segment, you have to be very hardworking. Only if you're hardworking will you make money. Only if you make money will you have this luxurious lifestyle. But then again, like I said, money necessarily doesn't bring you class. It definitely brings you luxury, right? And then again,
Absolutely
luxury
right.
is personal.
All right, so when you talk about money and hard work, there's always a connotation to luxury. What I feel like is that most people feel like if you have a luxury lifestyle, they seem at you, and the first comment they make at you is that oh, she's lucky. So what do you have to say about that?
So there are a lot of people who are born with a silver spoon,
Mhm.
right? Of course, they are lucky, but at the same time, you have to work hard to maintain that lifestyle, right?
Absolutely.
Of course, no one's gonna live off their parents' money or their inheritance for the rest of their life. So they have to work hard in order to kind of maintain that luxury. So yes, it's not easy, especially if you're born with a silver spoon, then you have to make sure that you maintain the lifestyle by making your own money and kind of maintaining that luxurious lifestyle.
Absolutely. And do you think is there a difference between the people who are born into luxury and versus the people who carve their way into this space?
So see, luxury, I mean, definitely the people who are born into it have that advantage because they will definitely come across more effortless. For them, it's not something they're intimidated by. For them, it's not something which is, oh my God, I need to achieve this. They're born into it. So it's something which is like second nature to them.
Absolutely.
So definitely they have that advantage. I would definitely say that. Then again, people who are not born into luxury and then they work hard to achieve it, they value it. Therefore, they will choose correctly, but then again, they will make their mistakes as well.
Absolutely.
And a lot of faux pas will happen, and then they learn from that. So people who are born into luxury definitely have a little bit of an advantage.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, what would be your, genuine advice to people who are starting out their careers and, who want to carve out their lives in this luxurious space, without doing something without going broke?
So basically, my advice would be that don't succumb to peer pressure. Do not succumb to, like things which are like, oh, trending or, oh, let me just get this because it's trending. And, this is something which I need to have because, the entire world owns it. Start researching and start figuring out what your personal style is. Okay. Even if you are Gen Z, you necessarily don't have to succumb to all of the Gen Z trends.
Absolutely.
See what works with your body type, with your personal style, and then invest in statement pieces. Let's say if you're going to college, then invest in a nice statement bag. Or let's say a nice pair of funky sneakers, right? Which will probably go with a lot of your outfits. So I think build it up, right? And build it up according to what your personal style is. So yeah.
So, while we're talking about trends, this is what I want to ask you is that have you ever, succumbed to this pressure and bought something that absolutely mismatched your personal values or style or, lifestyle?
Yeah. I have made these
100%.
mistakes. Yeah. Like like my younger self, if I could kind of go and give some advice to my younger self, it would definitely be like, take it easy. Do not succumb. That's what when you ask, what
100%,
advice
yes.
would you give people? My advice would be, do not succumb to peer pressure. Just do what you think is good for you.
Okay, so Rohini, you've been a part of this space for quite some time now. What is something that people don't realize about the kinds of efforts that you put into this space?
A lot of research goes into, your content. Now, for example, I think we were discussing this also off camera. I am associated with the brand Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, everybody knows what Mercedes is. Now, it's very easy and people think that, oh, wow, you know what? You're like collaborating with Mercedes and all you have to do is look pretty, post for pictures and things like that. But that's not always the case. Let's say if somebody like your audience asks you a question about the suspension or the mileage or about the features of the car or how different is the new model from the previous model, you should be able to answer those questions.
Mhm.
So it's not about looking pretty in front of, this beautiful car. You also have to know more about the car.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot
yeah.
of work and research that goes into it, because if you make a mistake, there'll be 100 people to like point fingers at you. So it's
100%.
not easy.
Yeah. So it's really about making that brand collaborations, that making that brand really your own, knowing about it, and telling people about it like it's your own.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So let me ask you a question that I'm sure a lot of people who watching this would want to know. How much do you earn in this luxury space?
How much do I earn? So, of course, because luxury, as you mentioned in your intro, there are only 0.01% people who,
Absolutely.
it caters to. So, your audience is limited, obviously. And, I don't know if I should say this, but I will. A lot of brands which are luxury don't pay.
Oh,
Because, yeah, they do not pay, because they feel that if you're associated with us,
it creates your brand image
it creates
better.
your brand image. So technically speaking, luxury doesn't pay you as much as people who watch that content, like that content, and then want you to endorse something which is maybe a little less luxury, and they want, like, let's say affordable luxury, they would pay you more.
Right.
So luxury per se doesn't pay. Like any of the top-notch brands, luxurious brands do not pay you.
Okay, so how do people get into this space? Because if suppose you have you're born into luxury and you have items that you'd want to show off, and of course that the viewers wanted to see, is it that I have this certain piece of bag and I want to start recording myself wearing it and fashioning it, or how do you get into this space?
All you have to do is just, let's say you can do a nice get ready with me reel. People love that these days. Get ready with me for, a date night, or for, let's say, girls night or something like that, and let it come very naturally. Talk to the camera, talk about your bag, talk about how you saved up money to buy it, talk about the different clothes in your wardrobe that go with that bag. I'm just talking about a bag, right now. And just be very like candid about it, kind of take pictures with the bag while having coffee and all of that. So yeah, that's how you start. And then, you just kind of just do things which are very natural, and
So,
automatically you build up.
according to you, is it the item they're holding that holds more value in engaging the viewers, or is it actually the effort they put into making the content that holds the value?
So honestly, it's the content that goes in making that.
Right.
Let's say if you post the reel, right? Like a nice, good, like, you're looking your best self, and, you're like, it's a nice cinematic reel where you're carrying the bag, and, you're kind of showing, you're posing really well and all of that, versus when you actually talk to your audience about how you bought that bag, how did you save up that money, and where did you buy it from, and how were you, like, what made you buy that, and why was that your your go-to bag, or why did you want to purchase it, or whatever. People want to know more about that rather than seeing like a very good looking reel, because that's the thing these days,
100%
right?
yes.
It's more value. People
So
want that.
what you're saying is that a story would sell 100 times more than an item.
Absolutely.
Got it. So this is something that I really want to ask you, and I'm sure a lot of people will be curious. So ये जो luxury influencers होते हैं, do they actually buy and own the luxury pieces that they have, or is it all PR?
So it's a mix of both. Some of them are like obviously PR, and some of them, when you start making money, you would want to buy luxury, and you want to show it off on your channel. So they would buy a few pieces, and few pieces they're gifted. So it's a mix of both.
Right. So आपने कभी ऐसा कुछ लिया है और इसके साथ कभी आपने कोई picture post किया which of an item which you actually don't own?
That I don't own. Okay. So does holding my husband's, stuff, or my mom's, or my mom-in-law's, does that count?
Yes, that
As
counts.
someone
That's
else's?
sweet. Yes,
Oh, a lot.
100%.
Yeah. I keep raiding my husband's wardrobe, and every time I'm visiting my mom in Bombay, I'll pick up something. I keep requesting my mom-in-law to give me her really nice, bags or whatever. So yeah, I've done that a lot of times.
Right. And what do you think about, I've heard the concept of pre-owned luxury in this segment. What do you have to, say about this new and upcoming trend in this luxury space?
I think it is the best thing that could have ever happened to the luxury segment, the luxury market, because it obviously sustainable and all of that. But I just feel that, there was a time when this was not there. Like people were not really, like people used to
Open to the idea.
open to the idea. They used to be like, oh, why do we need to kind of sell our bag, or and then rebuy, like, oh, don't we have money?
Item.
Exactly. Or second-hand item, or don't we have the money to, like, kind of buy another bag? Why do we need to exchange it and all that? And they had these very weird preconceived notions, right? But I just feel that after this was introduced, obviously sustainability, that is one aspect, but second is I don't know if your audience knows this, but a lot of brands were getting a little offended by the Indian market, because people who had the money to buy luxury, and once they were bored of their luxury items, they would give it to people. They would pass it on to, like, their staff, right? And the brand kind of, you mentioned aspirational luxury, right? Now there are people who work very hard to kind of buy that. Now, when you just give it to somebody, it's a hand-me-down, okay, to a person who probably doesn't understand what a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci is, or a Chanel is, right?
Or someone who wouldn't value it.
Who wouldn't value it at all, right? So I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. Of course they do. But you have to, like, kind of, like, earn it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the brands are getting upset about that. So when something like this happens, people know that they don't have to literally dispose of their items. They'd rather sell it off and either make money off of it or exchange it for something better or something different. So that is the second aspect. Third is that just keep, kind of, what's the word for it? Recycling luxury. Again, that goes into the sustainability aspect of it. So I think it's the best thing that could have happened.
All right. So, you've been in this space for a long time now. So, are there a lot of people in this influencer space where people are, buying luxurious stuff, or, buying fake luxurious stuff just for the pressure of keeping up? Because, I'm 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure that must be, like, happening a lot. I mean, I don't know of anyone personally, but I'm pretty sure. Like, when you see an item, you know that it's not an original. But maybe that is their thing, so I'm not judging them.
And what is your opinion on the same? Like,
it's not, I mean, I think good for them, because maybe they want to, and eventually they will. And if that's their way of, kind of feeling good about it, great, good for them. I mean, I'm not judging here, but I just feel that you'd rather, like someone once told me, okay, you'd rather own a Guess watch or a Swatch rather than wearing a fake Rolex, because a fake Rolex is obviously going to, I mean, everyone's going to know it's a fake Rolex, right? Because it's expensive.
It's
and
Rolex,
it's Rolex,
a status symbol.
It's a status symbol. And you know that, okay, who can afford it and who can't.
Exactly.
So it's very evident. And when you're wearing something which is a Guess, which is maybe not as expensive, but it's something which is, let's say, maybe a little, not little, but a lot less, but not cheap as well, right? You know that it's an original.
Right.
So the people who are kind of looking at you, they know that you're not somebody who's into fakes,
right?
But rather somebody who believes in, buying things which are originals.
Right.
Yeah.
And, just to, put it out that, there's a luxury space, and the luxury space is so wide that there are so many different brands with different, segments, right? Because a Rolex comes on top, and then, you have so many brands under and under and under them. So in order to create a space of your own in this wide space, you can always choose from the bottom, and, you can work your way up.
You can work your way up. Obviously.
You don't have to buy the fake first and then
exactly.
work your way up.
Absolutely.
Down.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about something which is very exciting for me also, because I'm also been a part of this space. You've been Mrs. India 2021 yourself.
Yes.
And, a lot of people have this misconception that, once you're wearing a crown on your head, your life changes overnight. How would you change that perspective?
It definitely doesn't change overnight. Of course, things change because you start looking at yourself differently, right? You know that, hey, you know what, like, I'm capable of this. I can do this, right? So you start looking at yourself differently. Therefore, people look at you differently.
100%.
And as and how that changes on a daily basis, things change. So it's very important to have that confidence in yourself, to know that you're worthy of, you know, an XYZ thing, in order for people to see that in you. And eventually everything comes to you.
Right.
And after winning, I think, or after kind of, entering a pageant or knowing that you're capable of doing this and, kind of getting that title or winning the crown, you know that, hey, you know what? I achieved this and I have it in me.
I'm capable of this.
I'm capable
Right.
of it. And then people see it eventually.
Right. And, what about this, correlation of being in India, where there are so many Miss Indias in the past that have become actresses. I'm very sure that there's a large segment of women in India who want to enter the world of Bollywood through pageantry. So, is it the right way to do it? Because pageantry isn't a stepping stone to Bollywood, just right. It's also about a different world on its own.
Right.
So, how would you cater that?
I think, why not? Right? Because Bollywood is all about, I mean, of course, it's not all about just looks, it's also about talent. But then obviously, first the looks and
Right.
then the talent. So, and, in the world of pageantry, it's all about, how you're perceived. It's necessarily not conventionally good looking, of course, but you have to be attractive.
Right.
Right? Like you have to have a
Physically, mentally,
personality.
exactly.
Yeah, you have to have a personality. And if you look good on camera, you'll obviously look good on the big camera as well. And then, of course, acting, if you have that, then it's a little combination. So I think it's a good stepping stone because people get to see your personality in every way. And then it's easier for them to know whether you'll, fit the part or not. And so I think it's a very good way. It's a good stepping stone
Right.
for sure.
So my next question to you would 100% be that what it takes to be a Mrs. India in India, because from years on end we've correlated beauty to fair skin, thin bodies, and tall bodies, and just pretty faces. What do you have to say about that?
So, this has always been, I mean, this has been a very sad, aspect of pageantry, right? That, like we say, conventionally good looking.
Right.
But, as in how we grow up and as in how we see things, sometimes we realize that, hey, what is conventionally good looking necessarily? I mean, that's not the only good looking,
Right.
thing. Sometimes what pleases the eye may not be conventionally good, right?
Right.
So it should be about anything that's good, anything that looks good. Why should we define beauty, right? It should be whatever's eye pleasing, whatever sounds right, looks good. Why not?
Right. So according to you, what does it really take to be a Mrs. India in today's day and age?
In today's day and age, I think a lot of confidence, self-confidence, very important. And when you say Mrs., then you have an entire family that has to back you up, right? Your husband, your kids, if you have kids, your in-laws, everyone.
Right.
Because, you need their backing. And not that if you're a miss, you don't. Of course, you need your parents, but then it's just your parents, right?
Right.
When you're a missus, there's a lot more.
More
And
responsibility.
more responsibility,
Right.
answerability, and all of that. So, of course, you need that confidence and you need a supporting family, a supporting group of people behind you to kind of
Right.
push you to do it and tell you that, hey, you know what, you're worth it. So, yeah.
So you've also, you've not just won Mrs. India, but you've also represented the Indian flag on international grounds. How was that experience for you? I'd love to know.
That was wonderful. It changed me. It changed me in multiple ways. So we had a period that we had to prepare for, I mean, as in for the pageant, like I think it was about 2 months, 2-3 months. And those 2-3 months, I kind of just like zoned in. And there was a lot of introspection. And there were so many things about myself that I wasn't aware of that I found out. I was like, oh my God, I'm capable of this. I'm capable of this. My limits. I had COVID just 2 days before I went for my pageant. And I was like, let's just say if it wasn't for the pageant, if it was any other time, I'd be like, okay, I give up. I can't do this. I have COVID. I have no energy. But the pageant kept telling me that, hey, you know what, you can. So it just pushes you.
It's fully sounding like a sport at this point.
It is. It definitely is. I feel like in the US, if you go pageantry, it's almost like a sport.
Oh, yeah.
You keep playing the sport till you don't win.
Right.
In India, it's a little bit different. People look at it in a little bit of a different way. But I think things are changing.
Why
unnecessary try karo and all that. But in America, obviously America, they start like
very young.
very young, 5, 6 and all. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like,
Yeah.
I think healthy competition
Yeah.
is always good.
It also keeps your, mind fresh, you
Yeah.
active, because you're also putting your energy into a whole
Something
different
constructive.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And you're, I feel like it's a whole different world where you need to put so much energy and effort, and there's so much that
Yeah.
meets the eye. But I
Yeah.
think we'll keep that talk for
Yeah,
another
I think we need an
episode.
entire
Yeah.
podcast just for that,
100%,
because there's so much
yes.
that both of us can talk about
Yes.
on that particular topic.
Okay, so now let's come to the juicy part of this podcast, and I'm all in for this. To spill the tea about what really happens at these luxury events, and what's the wildest thing you've encountered?
Oh God. Like I said, we need like a good 2 hours, and it has to be off camera, because there's so much that I can tell you, but I think that is for another time. I'll tell you a little bit. Okay.
Please tell us. We're,
So
all
the,
ears.
so the craziest thing that really happened that we experienced was, I'm not going to name the person, but somebody from the luxury, space, a content creator, actually did not give their right address, because it wasn't
No.
like, that was pretty crazy. They didn't give their address. They actually gave a fake address, not a fake address, but someone else's address,
Give
a
me the
friend's
address.
address,
Okay.
because it wasn't the address. So where that person lived. So he or she actually kind of, gave their friend's
Right.
address and received all their mail there, because they didn't want people to know where they live. So yeah, that
I have
was
a counter question to that. I mean, I'm nobody to judge this person, whoever is doing this, but at all. But how does it really make one feel? Because isn't it lying to yourself about your own life, right? Isn't it about being ashamed of who you are or where you live?
So as they say, fake it till you make it.
Is that the essence of luxury?
I don't think so, but for some people, yes, whatever works. I mean, I don't think so. I don't second that. I don't endorse that. But yes, there are a lot of people in this space who are faking it and who are making it. So yeah, you have to be smart enough to know who's faking it.
So where do you usually draw the line? Because there's no boundaries to faking it to whatever extent that you want to. So where do you usually draw the line?
See, for me, normally, I don't think I can ever fake it. I mean, I'm not saying this like I'm not trying to brag or something like that. But I just feel when you fake it, eventually you'll get caught. So you'd rather not. You'd rather just be who you are. Even if you're not like carrying a Birkin or something, it's fine. Even if you're carrying whatever, okay? As long as you know it's yours, as long as you know you paid for it, as long as you know it's an original, that's what matters.
Right.
Because eventually anything, okay, that's fake can get caught. So you'd rather just, stay true to who you are and what you have.
Right.
And just be yourself.
100%. And I think, my next question to you would be, I'm sure you have a lot of friends in this industry, in this influencer space. Is there, what is this friendship about? Is it just about competition? Is it about just helping one another? Or is there a lot of gossip that surrounds this friend circles?
So there's a lot of gossip, okay? And there are no
As I assumed.
and there are no permanent friendships or permanent enemies. For sure, because it's nothing personal. It's all professional, right?
Right.
So no one really, I mean, of course, there's a lot of competition. So people do try to cut each other out and all that. And a lot of times I've heard these things and people have like said random things about me, which make absolutely, which obviously there is no truth to. And sometimes it does hurt as well, because, you have associated with this person and you probably think that this person is a friend of yours. And then you hear a story where this person has just said some rubbish about you,
Right.
which is... And you're like, why? But you just had this really nice conversation with me. But I guess they just want that edge over you, or
Right.
they want to cut you out. So there's a lot of gossip and a lot of bitchiness that happens. But then again, you do kind of make some special friends as well. So
Right.
mostly
You'd say, this is a professional only space.
Yeah,
Mostly.
professional only, mostly, yes. But then again, see, I'm an influencer and so is my husband. And there is no competition. Right? Because we help each other. So there are people who might compete with their partners as well. And that happens in a lot of, like fields where people do compete with their partners as well. But I think for me, I think at least in my case, I look up to him more because he's been in this space
Inspire
for like,
each other.
like I don't know how many years now, like over 10 years. So I get inspired when I look up to him. But then there are people who compete with their partners and best friends as well, which is not the right thing to do, of course. But yeah, this industry, I don't think there are any, like, you won't make real friends, maybe a few and far apart, because
Got it, yeah.
every second person is competing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and it's fair. It's
Yeah,
only fair.
yeah.
I'm getting very, uncomfortable talking about luxury because, so let me just get some.
Yeah,
comfort.
get comfortable.
Perfect. So since you're spilling all the tea, I want to know, because being in the influencer space, you really need to be thick-skinned, right? And you get a lot of hate comments as well.
Right.
My thing is stuck here. Anyways, so you need to, be thick-skinned and all of that.
Absolutely.
What's the worst comment you've heard about yourself?
So you know what? The good thing is that on Instagram, so I'm on Instagram, right? So on Instagram, you will not get those many mean or bad comments. But I heard something from someone who was this lady. She told me, and your mom and I were together, right? When we heard this, and we were shocked. So somebody who was very, very dear to us, not dear, I would say, was very sweet to us and very nice to us in public. And then that girl says, do you have a problem with that lady? She was a content creator. And both of us were like, no, she's so sweet. She's so nice. And so she says, no, but she said that don't invite you to this event.
To you?
Yeah.
All right.
And both your mom and I were shocked.
I might know what event you're talking about.
And both your mom and I were shocked. We were like, but she's so sweet to us. And why would she do that? And that lady was convinced that we had a problem. And I was shocked. I was like, I don't have any problem with her. Your mom was like pretty shocked that I don't have any problem with her. Why would she say that about us? And later we realized that she didn't want us to come because she was creating her content in a very, how would I say, fake way. What she shows people, she is not really all that. And if we had come for that event, we would know.
Actually,
and this
see the
event
reality.
was outside of Delhi.
Okay.
So she probably was scared that if we, come there, we'll know how she creates her content and we find out the truth or whatever. But that was it was quite shocking because she was so sweet on her face. And then she was telling people behind her back not to invite us for events, which was so weird. So that was pretty shocking for me.
Okay. So that's Instagram, right?
Yeah.
There's more fierce competition than just, bland bullying.
Yeah.
So I also know that you do YouTube vlogging, and YouTube doesn't spare anyone, because for a
definitely
fact,
not.
I know some people have also called me Michael Jackson on my
Oh,
Instagram
God, really?
and whatnot. But that's for another story.
Yeah. People just have, they're just mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to be thick-skinned in YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Right. So how have you counted those, and what's the worst that you've seen?
So YouTube obviously doesn't spare you. My husband makes those vlogs and I'm a part of it.
Right.
And off late, we were reviewing this, 5-star property. And there was this one comment, okay, which was funny also because it was the way the person kind of commented. The comment was, तू इतनी गाड़ियां चलाता है, इतने सारे होटल में जाता है, तेरे पास कोई काम धंधा नहीं है क्या? कुछ काम धंधा ले ले. To which my husband was like,
यही तो मेरा काम धंधा है.
Exactly. So यही मेरा काम धंधा है, यही मेरा काम है. So yeah, so people, they say random things, and sometimes they say things like, अरे बाप के पैसे पे enjoy कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा क्या है, and all of that. So they have the preconceived notion.
Right.
Fine, fair enough.
And I don't think anything, they're not willing to change it for anything in this world.
Yeah.
You have to just let it be.
You have to let it be. You have to be thick-skinned. If you want to be on social media, you have to be thick-skinned.
100%.
Yeah.
So आजकल ना ये बहुत बड़ा trend चल रहा है कि influencers are suddenly becoming actors.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you have to say about that?
I feel, क्या होता है that... Why not? Sorry, that was a long pause. No, because I was actually thinking कि अच्छा है कि नहीं. So see, Bollywood, okay, is notorious to, kind of have that little nepotism thing going on, right? Now, they are including influencers because they feel the influencers are talented, right? Especially the ones that make a lot of, comedy content and a lot of those... acting content, which has a lot of acting involved. And some people are very famous. So they know that they have a good fan following.
Right.
And they will definitely want to watch them on big screen. And they fit the part also. Like Kusha and all of them. They're doing such a good job, right?
Yeah.
So why not? If you're good at it, then definitely you should.
I've seen a lot of influencers now becoming actors, but I really haven't seen that one luxury influencer becoming an actor. What's stopping them from, diversifying into this space?
I don't think, the thing with luxury is also there's a lot of, luxury also brings around a lot of people to be snooty, right? So they are not going to be, A, they don't want to struggle.
Right.
B, they don't care. C, they have enough.
Mm-hmm.
D, it's like, okay, if it comes to me, great. If it doesn't come to me, I don't care.
Right.
So I think luxury space is also, kind of snooty. So they
Right.
don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If something comes to them, they'll be like, yeah, great. I mean, I'm
Good
coming to you, so
opportunity
you
to
should be very
grace,
happy.
yeah.
So, so I guess I don't think they want to explore that opportunity. If I may add, or sometimes even if they want to, it's not an important thing for them.
Right. Yeah.
If it happens, great. Okay, another feather in the cap. Sorry.
All right. So this is a ritual that I want to start making in the show.
Okay.
That I do rapid fire with
Oh
all
my
of my
God.
guests, and you're the first target of my rapid fire.
Oh, no, I'm
so are you
scared.
ready?
I'm very
because the
scared.
questions are absolutely juicy.
Oh my God, I'm
Okay.
super scared.
Let's get started.
Okay.
You have less than 3 seconds to answer.
I think I'm going to be
all of these
horrible at
questions.
this, but okay, fine.
All right. A second. Let me just find where they are.
Yeah.
So, what's the most expensive thing you've bought, and was it actually worth it?
Most expensive thing I bought, and was it actually worth it? It was a limited edition a Louis Vuitton bag that I bought, and yeah, it was worth it because I enjoyed it.
Okay. A fashion trend you secretly love but are afraid to admit it.
Street style. I love it.
Haven't seen you wearing it though.
Yeah, but I do wear it when I go for like a movie date with my husband, and he
Right.
loves it too. So he's like, "Oh my God, I wish you could dress like this more often." And I'm like, "No, but that kind of is not my personality, and I have to stick to this sophisticated, proper person." Sorry, it's rapid fire. I'm elaborating.
No worries.
Let's continue.
What's the one luxury item everyone hypes but you think is overrated?
A Birkin for sure.
If you had to style an outfit from only street markets, what's one piece you'd never compromise on?
I would never compromise. A good pair of denims.
Right. What's one thing people assume about luxury influencers that's completely false?
That they all come from luxury.
What's the weirdest DM you've received from a brand?
Uh, can you do this for 2,000 rupees, please? Like, it's like, okay, I don't know. I found it weird.
What's the most obnoxious thing a brand has asked you to do?
Obnoxious. Again, like, just offer pittance for like your deliverables are like massive, and they offer you like 5,000, and let's just say I'm not going to do it. Okay, why don't you do 5,100, 5,200?
Oh my God.
And you're like, dude, I'm not going to do it. Okay,
It's
period.
almost like you're bargaining for the at
Yeah,
Sarojini Nagar
yeah,
or something.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes they do that.
Bhaiya 100 ka nahi, 200 ka
200 ka
nahi,
kar do.
please.
Yeah.
If you could have unlimited access to one designer's closet or one celebrity's closet, who would it be?
Who would it be? I honestly liked. Actually, I wouldn't say closet, but I would say like wherever this person is sourcing from has to be Anayata, Shroff Jania. Whoever she styles, she does such a fab job. So I just feel wherever she's sourcing her stuff from, wherever she's putting her looks, wherever her closet is, her styling closet, I would love to rate it.
Her
because
work.
Her work, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had a major fashion disaster at an event?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes. So that was really funny. So I was wearing these hair extensions, like a ponytail extension, and it just fell off. And
So you roamed around with just one point.
and no, I wasn't roaming around. The funny thing is, it fell off, and there were these two girls, and they said, like, "Oh my God, yeah, your hair has fallen off." And so I had this tiny little pony because my hair was like really tiny then. I mean, it was not very long. So I had this little pony here, and I walked in with like a long ponytail.
Came out with
and
a
came
short
out with a short one. So yeah, that was really bad.
Okay, complete this sentence for me. The real cost of luxury is.
A big price to pay.
Got it. And that was so much fun. You've honestly been an incredible guest. And thank you for giving us such an insider scoop. To everyone watching this, what's your take on luxury? Worth the splurge or just clever marketing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And share this episode with someone who needs to hear this. And until next time, stay bold, stay stylish, and stay you.